Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about writing our ionic compounds. So the first thing to remember about ionic compounds is that they are formed between a metal and a non-metal. You'll see this little division line I've drawn down the middle, and you have a similar one on your periodic table in your Google form. This divides our metals on the left-hand side from our non-metals on the right-hand side. Remember that a metal will become the cation. It wants to donate electrons. It won't give away electrons, so it becomes more positive. The nonmetal takes on electrons, so it will become more negative, and it is the anion. The first thing that we need to do when we are writing our ionic compounds is we need to make sure that we know the charge of whatever elements we're working with. So this first group likes to have a charge of +1. Remember, it likes to give away one electron so that it can fill its octet and look more like these noble gases. Again, the second group likes to give away 2 electrons, so it becomes 2+, or 2 more positive. And then our nonmetals on this side, this group right here likes to take on 1 extra electron, so it becomes 1-, and so on and so forth as you go down the groups. So you have a very similar periodic table provided you in your Google form, and that will help you solve the problems. I'm going to do a quick couple of practice problems. The first one is calcium and chlorine. And you'll notice that I didn't write out what it is for you. Remember, calcium is Ca and chlorine is Cl. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to check our periodic table to make sure we know the charges. So Ca is over on this side, and it has a charge of 2+. So this is how you would write that at the top. And then chlorine, or Cl, is right here and has a charge of 1-. We don't need to write the 1, because if it's not there, we just assume it's a 1, so I would just put a minus sign. So once I have that information, I will need to cross over those charges. So what that looks like is we take this number 2, cross it to the right side, and then this is just a 1. We don't worry about the positive or negative signs right now, and it's just a 1. So Ca, we should have 1 calcium and 2 chlorines. Remember, this is just a 1, so we don't need to write it at the bottom. So we end up with CaCl2. That is what our formula will look like, CaCl2. We have another example right here. Again, we have calcium with 2+, and this time we have oxygen, which is 2-. So when we cross over those charges, we bring that 2 to the right side, and again, we bring another 2 to the left side. We're not worried about the positive and negative. So we will still write calcium first. So we'll have Ca2 and then O2, because remember, we crossed over this 2 from calcium. So if you look, 2 and 2, it's the same, and they're both divisible by 2. You can simplify this to just say CaO. So even though we started with a charge of +2 over here and a charge of -2, they canceled out, so we ended up with just 1 element, or 1 of each element, to form our compound.